The downfall of LaMelo Ball needs to be studied. He went from the Rookie of the Year and then an All-Star in his sophomore season to Hornets fans talking about trading him and leaving the franchise to Brandon Miller, all in just 2 seasons.
I don't know if LaMelo Ball can be the franchise player on a winner because he's got a pretty empty calories game. His efficiency is garbage. His defense is horrific. I don't see a lot of evidence that the guy considers winning to be a priority.
Even if Charlotte wanted to trade him, his value is at an all-time low at the moment. Besides the problems with LaMelo's defense and his efficiency, the most glaring issue is that he just doesn't play games. He's always injured. Last year, he only played 22 games, and the season before that, 36. Sure, when he's on the floor, Ball is great at pushing the pace and his passing ability is elite. I mean, just look at these.
And a mid-range run. Ball, nice pass. Bridges able to score. And LaMelo Ball showing you his amazing skill.
What a great example. The vision. Look at LaMelo right here. What vision. Perfect. To the races. What do you got? Yes! Play. Look at that. Perfect steal. Who's with me? That would be Trez.
But this on its own doesn't win you games. In 4 years with him as the franchise player, the Hornets only had 1 play-in appearance, a 10th seed in 2022. Other than that, it's the bottom of the East season after season. Admittedly, he didn't play in a lot of those losses, and the Hornets are a dumpster fire without him. But last summer, he got a 5-year, $200 million extension. All that, and the team is clearly going nowhere. So this season will be crucial for LaMelo in shifting the narrative. A fresh start with a new coach, Brandon Miller only getting better, and with a good defender on the perimeter in Josh Green. All that Ball needs to do now is just stay healthy and try to at least bring the Hornets to the 8th or the 9th seed in the play-in to secure 2 chances for the playoffs. Failing to do so could get him in a situation similar to the one that DeAndre Ayton is in.
DeAndre Ayton got Monty Williams fired. I'm going to say that. DeAndre Ayton got Monty Williams fired.
This guy called himself the Dominating.
What you bring to both sides of the floor and to the team in general?
Dominance. I bring dominance. My name is Dominating.
And for a guy that's often settling for some weird flip shots at his size, that's pretty funny. Entering his 7th season, we've never seen him consistently be aggressive and assertive in the paint, and it became clear early on that he was far from the best player as the #1 pick in his draft class. Side note, by the way, this is absolutely stacked. Redrafting might drop him down to like number 6 or something. When the Suns traded Ayton to the Trailblazers, I thought that he would be the top dog on this young and rebuilding squad. He would finally get to 20 points per game and people would talk about him in a positive way. Instead, DeAndre went from 18 points per game to 16.5, and his field goal percentage dropped a ton from the previous season. How in the world do you do that without a Devin Booker or a Kevin Durant on the team needing the ball? Combine all of this with the fact that he's missed an average of 25 games per season in the last 5 years, and you know you can't rely on him. Things have gotten so bad that Portland drafted a center with the 7th pick, and I guess that they're not seeing Ayton with this team for much longer. This is the exact same scenario for Zach LaVine, as the Bulls have been desperately trying to get rid of him for almost 2 seasons, but there's zero interest in him. Literally nobody is willing to spend some assets in order to get him. This is because he's coming off of surgery and has 3 years and $138 million left on his contract. The biggest reason, however, is the fact that LaVine has become the icon for empty calorie stats. People around the league have formed this image of Zach that he gets his numbers, but that never amounts to anything. His teams have never won. Man, who knows what things could have looked like and how the story could have changed if this never happened.
Lonzo Ball, this is an injury, partial tear of his left meniscus. Teams saying the timeline is 6 to 8 weeks. This is the second time he's had this injury. He had a meniscus scope in 2018 with the Lakers, so this is certainly a significant blow for this team.
When this happened in January of 2022, the Bulls were 27-13, the #1 team in the East. Unbelievable.
I should say, a game last year. Lock forward! Go get it, Zach! What a pass by Lonzo Ball.
Since then, however, Chicago went from a contender to completely breaking up the team, trading away DeRozan and Caruso. And again, the only reason that LaVine is the only one left from that core is the fact that no team in the league wants to trade for him. and that is insane to think about. What's also crazy to me is how Jeremy Grant could have been a role player on a championship contender, but instead he became a journeyman, ending up in Detroit, dead last in the East in 2021, then second to last the next year before going to Portland and being the 13th seed in the West in 2023 and dead last again this past season. That's 4 straight years of misery for a guy that could have helped a serious team. Grant is another case of what could have been if only he was willing to accept being a role player and stayed in Denver. And sure, he got his $160 million contract from the Blazers and had a career-high explosion of 49 points last season, but what does all of that mean when it's all said and done? Now, if Grant chose this himself and knew what to expect, for Brandon Ingram, things really came crashing down out of nowhere. Ingram was on top of the world in 2022. He battled against the number 1 seeded Suns in the playoffs, and Phoenix barely got away alive in Game 6.
It's into Ingram on the reverse! Oh, a sensational play! He's got 19, 5-point Suns lead. Ingram flies the other way with a finger roll. Oh, and that's it. Game, series, the Phoenix Suns have survived.
All that without Zion? Man, we thought that New Orleans would be a contender in the coming years. But Ingram only played in 45 games the next season and 64 last year due to injuries. And at times, the fit looked bad with Zion. Each guy kind of played better when the other one was on the bench. And then came the Team USA debacle. Last summer during the FIBA World Cup, Ingram was supposed to be the main guy alongside Edwards, but a catastrophic performance of 6 points per game completely wiped him out of the starting 5 midway through the tournament. And that carried over to this season as well, dropping significantly in points per game and 3-point percentage. Ingram is a player on a max contract that's not playing like one. And the fact that he's in his last year means that the Pelicans would like to sign him to a much smaller deal or trade him if they don't want to lose him for nothing at the end of the season. Now, this is the interesting thing. There are a ton of videos by my fellow NBA YouTubers documenting how nobody wants to trade for him. Then, I assume he doesn't want to sign a much smaller deal with the Pelicans while still in his prime years, so at the moment he's kind of stuck in a limbo, and I feel like this season there's a pressure on him to once again prove why a team should want him, regardless if that's New Orleans or others. And speaking of proving their worth, of course the usual suspects here are former Golden State teammates Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. One of them completely disappeared after a great performance on both ends of the floor in the finals, and the other one became a laughingstock in the league. This is a sad downfall story, similar to the tragic downfall of NBA players who ate their way out of the league. Click on the left side to watch it in English, and the right one is in Spanish, so check out Heat Check en Español if you speak Spanish. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out.